What's going on, guys? JSGC Football here, and we're here for another episode of our weekly Premier League transfer updates, and it has been a big week in terms of Premier League transfers. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, you want to help to support the channel, then do subscribe. We're on that big push now to 1,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Social media links and everything, they're all in the description if you want to go and check them out. That would be much appreciated. And also, don't forget, leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy this video, and also don't forget as well to let me know your thoughts of these transfers in the comments below. So let's crack on with this video. We've had 3 major transfers in the last 7 days. The first we're going to speak about is going to be Manchester United, who have finally brought in a player, comes in the form of Wout Weghorst. Now, he plays for Burnley. He has been out on loan at Besiktas over in Turkey. That was meant to be for the season. Now, he's a Dutch international, plays for the Netherlands. More specifically, he'd made headlines after he put in an impressive display coming off the substitute bench for the Netherlands in their quarter-final clash with Argentina, which saw the Netherlands come back from 2 goals down to manage to force the game into extra time and then on to penalties before Argentina ended up winning that tie and going through, and also coincidentally just ended up winning the World Cup as well. But Wout Weghorst had then started to make the headlines, and interest had started to arise, and as Besiktas didn't have him on a permanent deal, it was only a loan deal. It does mean that he can be recalled by Burnley and sent somewhere else, either permanently or on loan. Now, Erik ten Hag over at Manchester United, their manager, wanted to use his Dutch links to be able to get Weghorst in on loan to Manchester United for the season. So he has been recalled by Burnley from his loan at Besiktas. That's come to an end. He said his farewell to the Besiktas teammates and to the fans as well. Burnley have recalled him, and they have loaned him for the rest of the season to Manchester United. I'm surprised Burnley didn't look for a potential permanent transfer here, because what's going to happen in the summer is Weghorst won't have his loan renewed. It won't be made into a permanent transfer. I'm almost certain of that, because Manchester United will want to bring in a permanent striker who they're going to spend a lot of money on. And Burnley obviously happy just to have him off their wage bill and have him loaned out and receiving a loan fee as well. So they're happy to have that income there. I just feel like they could have maybe got a few million more if they'd offered it to United, and I'm sure United would maybe have potentially had a look at an 18-month permanent deal or something. They might still choose to explore that in the summer. We'll have to wait and see. But as always, very surprising. There's always a surprising transfer in the January winter transfer window. I'm not suggesting that it's desperate. What I am suggesting is that you always get surprises and clubs going after players that they don't normally go after. I'm a City fan. I've seen us previously bring in players like Owen Hargreaves, Silvinho. It's just to help improve the squad there whilst not breaking the books. Not expensive to bring these players in, and they're there for the squad to do a job if needed. Now, Weghorst's not going to be starting week in, week out at Manchester United. They're on a good run of form at the moment, so he's probably going to struggle to break into the side. But there are minutes there for him, and obviously he'd rather be getting minutes for Manchester United doing well in the Premier League so far this season than he would at Besiktas. So we'll see if it ends up being a successful transfer or not. But yeah, very surprising. Manchester United loaning a player from Burnley who are in the Championship. January transfer window summed up for me. Now, moving on, the other 2 big transfers that we can speak about both involve Chelsea. So we'll go with the first transfer that has been confirmed. One of the biggest transfers of the winter window, Joao Felix. Let's not forget, he is a player that Atletico Madrid brought in from Benfica for his release clause of €120 million. That's over £100 million spent on a player that they have now loaned out to another club. They've loaned him out to Chelsea from Atletico Madrid. Now, there is a huge loan fee included on this, £9 million. That might not sound like much, but £9 million to have a player for half a season is extraordinary, because that's £18 million for the calendar year. You put him on a 5-year deal, you're looking at near enough £100 million transfer to have the services of a player for 5 years. And Chelsea, continuing with that fee, have paid £9 million to have a player there's no option to buy, there's no option to make this permanent, there's no obligations in there either. It's just £9 million. Chelsea will never see again. It goes to Atletico Madrid and they get Joao Felix. Now, Joao Felix made his debut already for Chelsea. He had a good debut, gave them fresh legs, fresh energy. He looked good, he was making direct runs. He looks like a very smart player. However, he did get a little bit too overexcited on his debut, went into a challenge high and got sent off. He got a straight red card. So he's got a 3-match ban. A 3-match ban for a player that they've got for half a season. That's nearly 6 of their games he's going to be missing. Absolutely extraordinary. It's a funny transfer, but also I think a very good transfer made by Chelsea. And it is casting doubt on some of their attacking players. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, we already know, probably on his way out of Chelsea, if not in this window, certainly in the summer. It's also cast doubt onto other players. I would say players, like, obviously with Pulisic injured, but players like Raheem Sterling that they brought in the summer. Also Kai Havertz as well. Chelsea really looking towards attackers, and they're spending big money to bring attackers in, looking for options there. I'm wondering if these are Graham Potter signings or the Chelsea board signings. The way the money's being chucked around there and the profile of the players that they're looking for sounds more to me like a player or players being signed by Chelsea, more so by the board than for Graham Potter, but we'll see. They've got themselves a good player on loan, no obligation, no option to buy, which is very unusual for a loan transfer. Joins for £9 million. They've got him until the end of the season. Chelsea are confident if they want to keep him that they can negotiate the price and sign him on a permanent deal in the summer. It will take a massive bid to make that happen. If I'm Chelsea and I'm making that massive bid, I'd want a £9 million discount. We'll see if that does end up happening. Now, moving on to the final transfer, one of the more interesting transfers in this window and potential to be the most expensive and also the biggest signing, certainly in the Premier League winter transfer window, perhaps even across Europe as well. And it comes in the form of an update on Chelsea and Mykhailo Mudryk. I've probably butchered his name, so I apologise for that. But he plays for Shakhtar Donetsk. He's set to sign for Chelsea today. The initial fee is £62 million. Plus add-ons. The whole transfer's worth for just fees being paid €100 million. Chelsea are paying an upfront fee, £62 million. I presume there'd be instalments on that. They're also going to be paying £26 million in add-ons. Apparently, the whole sum of them add-ons is Chelsea either winning the Premier League or the Champions League. Now, you would think with the money that Chelsea is spending, they're obviously wanting to play catch-up. They're concerned right now about not making European football next season. They're very concerned about not making the Champions League next season. So they're spending big and they're making signings happen now to try and rectify that. And how these players are going to gel, we'll have to wait and see. But they are wasting no time in getting transfers sorted and wasting no time in spending huge in this winter transfer window. £62 million sounds like a very affordable transfer for Chelsea. Normally in an ideal world, when you're looking at a player that's not played in the European top 5 leagues, player that's 22 years old, is an attacker, plays out wide, is a winger, you're normally looking at like £40-50 million. So they've paid a little bit extra, £62 million to bring him in. They know they're not going to win the Premier League, they're not going to win the Champions League this season either. So that £26 million pretty safe. However, at some point, they're more than likely because the contract's going to be until 2030, so I presume this would be add-ons that are included until at least 2030. You would think that at some point Chelsea would win the Premier League or the Champions League between now and then, unless something significant does happen to them. So £26 million could be going on its way to Shakhtar. It's a huge amount of money to Shakhtar. Interesting to see how they manage to utilise that with all the ongoing problems that they've got in the Ukraine as well. Chelsea getting themselves a very dynamic winger in Mykhailo Mudryk, so we'll see how he settles into life in the Premier League. He was close to joining Arsenal. Arsenal have been working on this transfer for a fair few weeks, and Chelsea's name just come out of absolutely nowhere. Arsenal were closing in on a 90 to 95 million euros deal. I think add-ons were the problem there. Chelsea have just come in at the 11th hour after Arsenal were very close to finding an agreement. They've paid a little bit more. They've agreed to pay an extra 5 to 10 million euros to make this transfer happen and get them add-ons included. And now he is going to be making his move to London, but instead of North London and to Arsenal, and a massive blow for Arsenal. Let's not forget Arsenal, top of the Premier League and in a good position to win the Premier League. Instead, joining Chelsea, currently sitting in 10th place. So what does that mean? Does it mean money talks or Arsenal undesirable? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Very, very interesting transfer. I like to keep my eyes on everything that's happening in the world of the Premier League and transfers from English clubs and also from around Europe as well. Just because I'm a City fan, I do daily City transfer updates when the transfer windows are rolling. I keep an eye on what's happening from other clubs as well. And this is a huge move being made by Chelsea and a big shove in the back to Arsenal as well with this transfer. Very interesting. Transfer hasn't been completed. It's set to be completed today. It could be done and dusted by the time that I've edited and distributed this video. That's how close the transfer is to being completed. So Mykhailo Mudryk, no longer to Arsenal from Shakhtar, but instead to Chelsea instead. 100 million euros. We're looking at a deal worth 88 million pounds, 62 million pound upfront fee, 26 million pounds in add-ons with the belief of it's going to be a payment of Chelsea winning the Champions League or the Premier League, as well as spending £9 million to have a player for 17 Premier League games or so. Joao Felix. Chelsea making some mad moves in the transfer market in January. Man United making a strange signing from Burnley. January transfer window, got to love it. So there we go, that has been this week's episode. We'll be back next week for another Premier League transfer update. Make sure you subscribe with your bell pressed to put your notifications on so you can be notified immediately for when I do upload. Don't forget as well, social media links and everything. You can go and find them links there in the description, links to other channels and everything. Go and check them out. That would be much appreciated. Do leave a thumbs up as well if you do enjoy this video. Do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below, and I'll see you again next week for the next episode of our weekly Premier League transfer updates rolling throughout the January winter transfer window. So I've been JSGC Football. Thank you all for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.